everybody, and welcome to the 505 SVF program. I'm Kurt Roth, and we're coming to you from the studios of ProView downtown, ProView Network downtown Albuquerque, high above Central Avenue. We're going to have a special guest or a regular guest on the program after our first break. But I just want to thank everyone for being with us. I want to thank Adrian. We always joke around. Adrian, we say he's from Norwalk. Adrian's from Long Beach. Adrian's a Southern California guy, and we all know what's going on down there, and it's just been a nightmare. So to Adrian, his family, all Californians, our thoughts go out. We hope for the best. Anyone who has the ability to contribute to the various help sites and help efforts, relief, whatever you can do. And just keep in mind how lucky we are to be where we are, safe, sound, our homes intact. Again, our thoughts go out to everyone in Southern Cal. Anyway, we're in the NIL era. Big time change is coming, and we will talk about change in the NIL movement in the next couple of weeks because the future is really uncertain. But what we do know now is we need your help. So it's 505sports.org. We can take a donation of $1 a month, and we're grateful for it. But we need your participation. New Mexicans own the Lobos. They're our team. So we're heavily into women's basketball, men's basketball, and now football. So again, help out what you can. It's 505sports.org. 505sports.org. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with our special in-house guest right after this. Stay with us.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Show this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
You get a call. Go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the 505 Sports Venture Program. I'm Kurt Roth, and We're ready to roll. For Lobo fans, a tough morning. Well, let me stop. Introduce special guest, president, and our host, generally, Steve Davis from ProView. And Steve, thanks for being here. We were joking before. We weren't sure whether it was the Steve Davis show and you were asking me to be a guest or you're my guest.
Oh, I know that, but we'll just start out. Hey, the sun came up today, guys, and the Lobos are fine. There's concerns like every time you have a loss, but hey, they're 6-1 and they have a chance to win the Mountain West Conference.
For those, I was fortunate to be at courtside, and it was disappointing in that I don't care what you say about San Jose State. They're not a very good team. They're not super skilled. They had a guy in the middle. I don't know if he was 6'6", maybe 6'6" with his hair. He put up 23 points and a bunch of rebounds. The Friday before, and we'll get to this with the crowd, Friday before the Lobos play in front of 15,000 people, national TV, Bill Rafferty, the whole ball of wax, and out rebound San Diego State.
They devastated San Diego. They beat San Diego State at their own game, and they were never in the game except after the tip-off.
Right. So now we go to San Jose, and we're going to talk about this. The announced crowd was 1,800. I literally counted people 15 minutes before the game. There was 140. They started coming in, but we could count 140 at 12 minutes before tip-off. Okay, San Jose State, not a good team. I don't care how much effort they put in. We know Tim Miles is a good coach. They're just not a good team. Lobos got up to a 12 or 13-point lead in the first half, and Nelly got in foul trouble. Kind of changed the complexion. But before we get into the game, talk about you've been in those situations where you played in the Pit, in what I think is the heyday of the Pit. You played right before the second renovation, right in between the renovations, and the students, we sat on the court, so it was wild. And then you played in games where you can hear the sneakers. What's that like?
Well, let's just go back to Saturday, to the San Diego State game. The expectations, they came in. Lobos lived up. Actually, lived up more than their expectations. Okay, they just shut down. And I've been watching San Diego State. They're a quality team. Okay, maybe not as good as they were been in the past, but they're a quality team. And the way they beat them was like, wow, this team's for real. Our defense, there's been questions about our defense not big enough. We actually out-physical, out-rebounded them, shot more shots than they did. I was looking at all the stats, and we could have shot maybe a little bit better on free throws, and that probably would have been a perfect game for the Lobos. Well, all right, they travel. All right, it's cold in Albuquerque. Came from everybody loves the Lobos. Talking about how great they are. Remember, these guys are kids that are 19 to 24 years old or whatever, and everybody's talking how great they are. And then they go on the trip and they come into a stadium that there's 100 and something people. So the expectation, all of a sudden, the same feeling of who they are and what they are it's kind of embarrassing. You go from 15,000 to say 1,000 people in an arena. There's going to be a letdown. And the road is playing on the road. I don't care what team in the Mountain West. You better be prepared to play.
Yeah, well, we watched and we saw, as we were discussing earlier, Nelly got in foul trouble, which was a big problem because this kid just kind of gobbled up rebounds, loose balls. The Lobos got a little slack on defense, made a bad play at the end of the first half to let a guy get off a ridiculous shot. It still was a ridiculous 35-footer. He nailed it, but it never should have happened. Should have been able to trap him, have him make a pass. So we come in at halftime, and we had a 4-point lead, and it was big. I'm sure Pitino read him the riot act because there were some bad decisions, some lackluster play. And again, they're out-rebounding us, which is just incredible. And San Jose comes out and takes the lead right away. And then you're in a battle. So you never know what happens in that scenario.
Well, but let's go back and correct me because we've already played them before. They came in and
Right.
and
They were one possession away with 2 minutes left.
and so even though if they're a bad team, it's what I found when I was playing, it seemed like, and it's still to this day, no matter what team Wyoming has, you're gonna have a dogfight when you go up to Wyoming. Okay, most of the time it's gonna be a 1 or 2 point game, no matter what team comes into the plane with it. So this kind of shows you that the team thought that they should have won in the pit, and they could have believed that they could win at home, and they did.
Right. Well, they did. They didn't give up. That was sort of the feeling and the discussion on the San Jose sideline in the press and the security staff were like, we didn't give up when we were down. They hung in, and good things happened. To me, though, it was just incomprehensible that with 20 seconds left, they get 3 shots at the winning basket, and the guy made he got 2. I'm blanking on his name now. Davis, perhaps. I think it's the guy who made the basket. Had 2 shots in the last 20 seconds, and then he had a short, wide open bank shot, and that was it. So to me that's inexcusable. That ball comes off the rim. You have to have 2 or 3 hands on that ball because they didn't get rebounds that went right up. They reset, and then the last one was just caught the ball with 3 seconds and banked it in. Can't happen. Anyway, all right, we're going to take a break. We're over that. San Jose's gone. We got a big game on Friday with Boise State. We'll be right back. We'll talk about that because, like Steve said, the sun came up. The Lobos are still in second place. We'll be right back after this.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
And Utah State up at Utah State. I mean, I'm just saying, it doesn't matter what the teams are. It seems like there's a...
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm sitting here, and we're still talking. Steve and I didn't take a break. Sorry you did. We've solved a lot of the problems of the world and the Lobos in the last 30 seconds. Anyway, all right, so now it's 6-1. I guarantee that before the season, if you polled 100 Lobo fans, probably 98 would have taken 6-1, right?
Yes, I would. I mean, that's a great. I mean, hey, any team in the Mountain West 6-1 and at this time of the season. I mean, look at Nevada. They're not happy where they're at. That's a great coaching staff. I mean, I'm just saying it's
right 6-1. All right. So now, and we were talking about how tough it is to play Wyoming, for instance. Well, Lobo's opponent on Friday night is Boise State. Boise State went into Wyoming last night and was ahead 50-21 at halftime, which was a big deal for Boise because they had a heartbreaking loss in Logan against Utah State, where Martinez makes a 4-point play, a desperation 4-point play to win the game. Meanwhile, Leon Rice, say what you want about Leon, his team was ready to go into Wyoming, had to walk through the game. They're in town on Friday night. I think we got to get the baseball team out to provide a little security because that freaks Leon out. But Boise State, always a good team.
Well, I think the Boise State is a great, I mean, you think about, we have 2 home games back to back. I mean, and we have Friday, and I know Patino and even yourself, we take one game at a time, but, you know, if we can win both these games, this changes the whole dynamics. This conversation we're having about it all changes because now we're going to be 8-1, and then having Utah State coming in or going on the road to play them, then it makes it even more exciting.
Monstrous, right.
But back to Friday night's game, it's hey, come out with energy, man. This is a great. Patino's a great coach. I mean, this is what, you know, the Mountain West. And then and think about the realistic of it. How many teams? I don't know. And this is a question. I think I'm right on this. Is it? I don't think any team has ever gone through the Mountain West without a loss. I mean, this is just
no doubt about it.
So, and most of the time, and I think you're even better on that, but if you can go 2 or 3 losses in the Mountain West, and you've had a great season.
You finish in first place.
Right.
So now with a 20-game schedule, you'd have to think 16-4 it puts you in the hunt. You would think. Now Utah State has been unblemished. They also have to go on the road and play at Boise. They have to come here. They have to play at San Diego. So, you know, and the Lobos have a tough schedule the second half. At Nevada, at Boise,
UNLV.
at Utah, UNLV next Saturday, a week from Saturday. So, you know, but again, one game at a time. So we like Boise. We like, you know, Leon's a pain in the you-know-what. Whines constantly. I thought Utah State the student section did a great job. They took regular water bottles and put a label on it that called it Tears of Leon and distribute them throughout the crowd. But his team will be up. We know we got Degenhardt, who's always good. He's got a cast around him. We've got the kid who cut his hair. He looked like one of the Hanson brothers. Now he looks like Rambus. He had a big night last night. And the point guard from San Jose State transferred in Cardenas. So tough matchup for the Lobos.
Well, I think all the matchups for the Lobos. I mean, I don't think we're a dominating team or anything, but I think if we get point production from the bench and from field, then we're a team that is right there with anybody. Okay, and then of course I come from the Norm Ellenberg days and John Wisnett. Oh, by the way, you got to see John Wisnett on Saturday, and he was my coach, and what a great day that was. But back to what I was saying is that we got to be, you know, ready to go. Okay.
So yeah, again, I expect a battle. For those who don't have tickets, as of yesterday, they were approaching 14,000 sold. Hey, okay, Albuquerque, it's Friday at 9 o'clock. Now, come on. I know it's a little late, but this is a big
Friday
deal.
night.
It's Friday night.
It's Saturday.
Let's
You're
go.
off. You're off.
You're off. Let's get out to the game. Let's fill that place up. Let's make it like a big deal, like it should be. We got incredible national publicity for Saturday. A big win. Bill Rafferty in the house. CBS. It was the lead-in to the NFL pregame on CBS. So let's fill the house. The team will do their deal and probably beat Boise. I'm relatively confident that that's going to happen. But we need the fan support, just like we needed at 505sports.org. We need you to be part of it. Buy stock in the Lobos. Come out and make this thing a community event. We also go from Saturday for all of those people who think it's from Friday, who think it's for many of us, it's a 3-day weekend. We got the Martin Luther King holiday on Monday, and the Lobos play a matinee on Monday against Fresno State. So let's make that a big deal. Get the kids out. They're off school. what a great time to bring your son, your daughter, your granddaughter, your niece, your nephew to their first Lobo game. That's 3 o'clock on Monday, Fresno State. Let's get out there. Let's make this a big community event. All right, so now we've got the Lobos beating Boise. Right, we'll beat Boise.
Well, I'll make it easy for you. I mean, this is the days that was inbred with me, with the coaches, with Norm Ellenberger and John Wisnett, and even with Dave Bliss's team and everything. You just don't lose in the pit. So I'm a firm believer. No matter whoever comes into the pit, we're going to win.
Right. You got to go with that. And that's what I expect as a fan of 53 years. You guys, let's get in the crowd. Let's make noise. Let's give Leon a hard time. We'll get Todd Brown, our baseball coach, to bring some of his guys to stand in the ramp when they come down. And let's make it a date Friday night. Anyway, one more break. We're going to sell you some stuff. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66, built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm sitting here in the studio with one of my regular guests, my host and ProView Network President Steve Davis.
Former Lobo, too.
Former Lobo, let's not forget about that. And we were talking about that last weekend off camera, how history changes the outlook. Well, first let me mention, Steve and ProView are also a supporter of the 505 Sports Venture Foundation. And again, there's no time like today. We've got football recruits being signed. We're going to have to retain some of our talent for next year. You guys all know what I'm talking about. And we can compete with anyone if you help. So it's 505sports.org, 505sports.org. And like I said, you guys are supporters.
Well, I think what I like about your program, it doesn't matter the dollar amount, it helps, and you're very appreciative of it. Okay, I'm not a high roller type deal, but you make me feel like I am a high roller, and I appreciate that, and it really is contagious when you're talking to the public. You know, you can come in with $10 or $15 a month. I mean, it doesn't. Those are the type things, and if we can get the community behind that. And I think, we all talk about it, and I'm big on this, is that NIL's the future, okay? And if we don't compete with it, then our program's never going to get to where the level that everybody have the expectations in this community is.
Wow. Good point, Stephen. And thank you. And considering not only the dollar amount, but the access you give us weekly to talk about this. You are a big-time donor. Trust me. Anyway, we were talking about a little Lobo history. And on my website, and that's another feature, if you join up as a contributing member at $25 a month, you have access to our website and our message board. And there's a lot of discussion about Lobos. We were talking about who are some of the greatest Lobos ever. And it started with 3 and 4, and then it got to the top 10. And we're old guys, and we know history pushes us down, because I watched 40 top 10s. And I guarantee, okay, if you didn't play 4 years and Danny Granger played a year and a half and J.R. Giddens, and if you want to put them in there, great. Does it have to be 4 years? But one of my favorites, he's still in town, who was there when I was there, Marvin Johnson, was on no one's list. No one's list. Only Lobo to ever score 50 points in a game. Without a three-point line, he probably would have scored 70 in that game. Anyway, history's funny. Steve played in one of the greatest Lobo games of all time.
Number 9.
This survey.
So let me speak on that behalf, because it's true, and I'm still proud of this. But and you said it. There's probably numerous games that maybe deserve to be above or below it, however you want to look at it, whatever area. But my game, 15 years ago, 20 years ago was number 7, okay, and then it went to number 8, and number 9, and the next time, they do a, they do a 15,000, the 1,500th game or whatever, the 1,100 game or whatever, that the game that was the 1,008 might just top that one. So.
Right, history's not kind to old guys. But
I was mentioned. That was the biggest thing.
That's right. You're still in there. That was one of the great. I was there. I was there for that game. Hard to believe. Hard to describe the turmoil. It was a really, really tough time around the program. And what happened, what occurred on the court, in the stands, with the kids, and then the new class that came in, just an incredible. And that year was followed by Michael Cooper coming in, who yesterday or the day before was inaugurated into the Hall of Fame of the Lakers, with Pat Riley giving an award. So just an incredible, a great Lobo. And there's another one. That's probably why this discussion happened. Coop gets into the Laker Hall of Fame. All of a sudden, he's the number 1 Lobo of all time. Like, guys, when I was here, Cooper couldn't shoot outside of 12 feet. I mean, he developed, and hey, all credit to him. He became a great, great pro from the defensive end, but he became a three-point specialist. He couldn't shoot foul shots here.
You know what? He may not have been able to score, but ask Danny Ainge if he remembered what he got done in the pit. So Coops locked him down.
And one of my favorite things is if you watch the HBO show Winning Time, kind of the dramatization of the Lakers and Magic and Kareem. Coop's in the locker with a Lobo shirt on in one of those episodes. So I always thought that was great. All right. So
what a great place to be in. I mean, this is the greatest. I mean, and like I said, we marked those down, and if you look at the Pitt's record of win losses, it's a pretty good percentage. And if you're a percentage type guy, you look at the win loss in the Pitt, and there's a reason people don't want to come to the Pit.
Right. All right. Well.